Thank you so much for joining me at Everyday Yoga. My name is Christine. My pronouns are she and her. I don't know if you're practicing in the morning, the afternoon, or the evening, but I really appreciate you clicking on this video to join us for this relax and restore video. This is going to be one where we're really taking care of the knees and avoiding being on them or stressing them out. So if you have sensitive knees, this is probably a good video for you. And we'll also be doing some back strengthening as well as a little knee strengthening as well. So let's go ahead though and start on our backs. If you have a block or a cushion that's shaped kind of like a block, or a rolled up towel or a blanket that you can fold up to get kind of along the lines of a block, go ahead and bring that with you. We're going to be laying on our backs, knees bent and pointed up towards the sky, and the feet on the mat. And just go ahead and push into the feet just enough to lift the hips up and place the block in its lowest position. This is low, medium, high. Place it in its flat position across the small of the back with the top of the block. I got another block over here somewhere I can show while I'm also on it. So I just have the block on top of my belly here in the same position in which it's located under. And this top edge of the block is right about where a belt would be if I was wearing a belt. And so it's flat right underneath the small of the back, not on the tailbone. And we're just opening up the hips here, just kind of in a constructive resting pose. You can take your feet as wide as the mat if that feels good. And allow the knees to just kind of fall in towards one another and support each other to really lengthen through the hip flexors and find a really restful position here with the knees supported. Go ahead and bring the hands to the belly, or if you prefer, you can open the palms up towards the sky. And if you feel good about closing your eyes, maybe soften your gaze or close the eyes. And take a few breaths. Just inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. Trying to be mindful always to breathe through the nose whenever possible, because our nose is our built-in filtration system. It's got all the little cilia in there to filter out viruses, bacteria, dust particles. It also changes the temperature of the incoming air so that it's easier for your body to process the oxygen that's coming in. It humidifies the air. That being said, you can always inhale through the nose and let it go through the mouth, maybe with an audible sigh, just inhaling here. And then exhaling out the mouth to just let it go. And begin. Maybe one more time. And then return to inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And let's just draw one knee and then the other in towards the heart. Maybe holding on to the knees or the shins or the backs of the thighs here and rocking a little gently from side to side, getting a little bit of a back massage here. And then let one foot and then the other come back down to the mat. Then press up into the feet, lifting the hips and moving the block aside. Let the tailbone come back down to the earth and send the legs out long and the arms up overhead. Give yourself a nice, big, good morning, good afternoon, good evening kind of stretch, maybe rotating the ankles and the wrists in one direction and then the other. Maybe wiggling the fingers and wiggling the toes. And then we'll go ahead and bring the soles of the feet back to the mat. And draw that left knee in towards the heart, either hugging the back of the thigh or the shin, and just giving it a little bit of a hug here. You can point and flex the toes, maybe rotate the ankles again if that felt good. And then we'll let that left knee come on out to the left side and bring the outside of the left ankle to the top of the right thigh. And just go ahead and kind of level out the hips here so that the hip bones are pointed up towards the sky. And maybe press the left thigh away from the body, getting a little bit of a massage on the inner thigh. And then if you want to stay here, you can stay here. Or if you like, you can lift the right foot from the earth and thread the left hand in the space between the thighs, interlacing your fingers behind the right thigh. Coming into a supine figure 4 stretch here, lying down, figure 4. And you can draw those knees in as close as feels good to you. You might feel a nice stretch in the outer left thigh and that IT band. If the knees are feeling tense here, you can flex the feet and really kind of draw those peaky toes up towards the knees. This will engage the ligaments around the knees to give them a little bit more support. Then if the knees are fine, then you can just let the feet be relaxed here if you like. And the next time you inhale, go ahead and straighten the right leg up towards the sky, foot flex, sole of the foot shining upwards. And as you exhale, bend the knee and allow the foot to relax. Let's inhale and straighten, pressing the sole of the foot to the sky. Exhale to bend. We'll just keep doing that motion here, warming up the hamstrings, getting a little bit of movement and strengthening here in the knee, even without putting any weight on it or stressing it at all. We can be strengthening the knee right here. And the next time you inhale the legs straight, go ahead and let it stay here. Really draw that heel up towards the sky. And maybe draw the thighs a little bit closer to the heart, getting a little deeper into the hips and the hamstring. And then we'll go ahead and bend the right knee. Bring the sole of the foot back to the earth. Unwind, bringing the left sole down as well. And we'll just windshield wiper the knees a little bit gently from side to side. Not real deep yet. Even if you can go really deep all the way down to the floor, just let it be a gentle movement here as we are warming up the body. And then let's go ahead and come back to center, and we'll hug the right knee in towards the heart, interlacing the fingers behind the thigh or around the shin. Pointing and flexing the foot a bit here, maybe rotating the ankle again if that feels good. And then we'll bring the outside of the right ankle to the top of the left thigh here. Take a moment to really level out those hips. We'll probably get a little wonky as we move along, but be mindful of these nice little level hips here. Then maybe press that right knee away from the heart, getting into that hip flexor, maybe pressing with the heel of the hand and getting a little bit of a massage on the inner thigh. And then either stay here or go ahead and hug that left leg in towards the heart, interlacing the fingers behind the thigh or around the front of the shin. Flexing the feet to keep those knees safe, or allowing them to relax if they're not irritated in this position. We'll just breathe here. Take a couple breaths through the nose. Just letting the body settle in. Then the next time you inhale, let's straighten that left leg, lifting the sole of the foot to the sky. And exhale, bending the knee. Inhale to straighten and flex the foot. Inhale to bend the knee. Keep moving like this. Getting a little strength building in the left knee. Moving with the breath. Then the next time you inhale the legs straight, go ahead and stay here for a couple breaths. Maybe drawing the legs a little closer to the heart, maybe not. Just letting your body be your guide as far as where you want to go and how deep you want to go there. The next time you exhale, go ahead and let that knee bend and gently unwind, bringing the soles of the feet back down to the earth. Take them as wide as the mat again, and we'll windshield wiper the knees from side to side. Maybe going a little bit closer to the floor this time if that feels good to you. Maybe taking the arms out wide in a T, palms up or down. Maybe taking the gaze to the opposite side as the knees. So when the knees go left, the gaze goes right. When the gaze goes left, the knees go right. Maybe moving with the breath, inhaling everything high to the sky, and exhaling as you twist to each side. Then we'll inhale everything back to center. We'll hug that left knee in towards the heart again, and this time we'll send the right leg out nice and long. And we'll flex both feet, really pressing through each heel, and the hands can be clasped behind the thigh or around the front of the shin. Whatever feels good here for you. If you want a little strengthening in the core here, you can allow that right leg to hover above your mat here. So it can be down on the mat or just lifted an inch or two off the floor. And then send that right arm out parallel to the body, palm facing up or down. And use the left hand to draw the left knee away from the center. Inhale the left knee back to center, still allowing the right leg to hover if that's where your practice is tonight. Inhale the left knee out towards the left. Exhale the left knee back in towards center. One more time here. Inhaling out to the left. Exhale, letting the right leg come down as you cross the left knee over the body towards the right. And then let's send that left arm out long, perpendicular with the body. You can take your gaze across the palm here, gazing left as the knee is over on the right. Bring that left foot to some kind of support, either a block or a pillow, blanket, towel, whatever kind of support you have nearby, or you can bring it to the floor, or you can bring it to the inside of the right leg, either up on the thigh or down on the calf. Probably not directly on the knee though, because we're taking particular care of those knees today. Getting a nice little stretch here as we twist. Couple breaths here, maybe massaging that left thigh with the right hand. One more full breath here, and we'll inhale back to center, drawing both knees in towards the heart. Maybe bringing the nose up towards the knees, realigning everything, the spine and the hips and the neck. And then we'll send that left leg out long, interlacing the fingers to hold the right leg in towards the chest. You can, again, either bring the left leg down to the mat, or you can allow it to hover above the earth here to build a little bit of strength in the core, in the quad, that's for sure. Maybe even around the knee a little bit with this kind of engagement here. And then we'll send that left arm out to the left side and inhale the right knee out towards the right. Exhale, right knee back to center. Inhale, right knee out towards the right. Exhale, back to center. One more time, we'll inhale the right knee out towards the right. Exhale, allowing the left leg to come down to the earth and bringing the right knee over towards the left, using the left hand as your guide, and sending that right arm out long, perpendicular with the body, and maybe gazing out over the right palm. Again, don't just let those right toes hang out here. Bring them to the floor or to your inner left leg or to a pillow or block or whatever. We don't want to put any undue stress on these knees by letting that foot have no support here. Want to be supported. Faux show. Just breathing here, maybe finding a little massage in the outer right leg. One more full breath here. And then we'll inhale everything back to center, draw the knees in towards the heart, lift the nose towards the knees. And then we'll bring the feet back down to the earth. And we're going to do a couple bridges here. And build a little bit of strength even as we stretch out the back. So you can bring the palms to the earth alongside the hips. Feet are flat on the mat, knees pointed up at the sky, and the legs are parallel to one another. If you can tap the backs of the heels with your fingertips, that would be great. If not, just try to keep your knees in line with the ankles here. Everybody's body is perfect though, so if your body doesn't conform to that particular position, if you need the knees out a little farther away, or the feet out farther away to bring comfort to the knees, definitely do that. But bring them as close to the body as you can without bringing pain. So we're going to press into the hands, press into the shoulder blades, press into the triceps, and let those collarbones come away from one another. Tuck the chin here gently to keep the neck long. And as we inhale up into bridge, think about lifting from the hip flexors, these hip bones, right here in line with the quadriceps. So pressing into the palms, we're going to curl that tailbone under, lifting from the hip flexors. And then we'll go ahead and roll down one vertebra at a time, bringing the back down to the mat. We'll inhale, curling the tailbone in and up, lifting the hips, opening the hip flexors. Exhale, rolling one vertebra at a time, back down to the mat. And this time, let's inhale the hips and the arms up towards the sky. And exhale, letting everything come back down to the earth. One more time, except this time, let's bring the arms all the way up overhead, inhaling the hips and the arms up overhead, bringing the backs of the hands as close to the floor over your head as you can. And then we'll exhale, bringing the hands and the hips down to the mat. One more time, we'll do that. Inhale, hips and hands. And exhale, lower everything back down. And this time we're going to inhale just the hips, pressing into the arms. And we're going to stay here for a few breaths. And you could stay here pressing into the hands, pressing into the triceps, lifting the hips, or you could interlace the fingers underneath your back, drawing those shoulder blades towards one another and really kind of squeezing all the tension out from between the shoulder blades, letting those clasp hands underneath the hips help leverage the hips up towards the sky. And instead of focusing on any difficulty you might have here, focus on the areas that feel good, that wonderful opening in the low back, that opening in the front of the hips. If your hands are clasped underneath your back, go ahead and switch your clasp, bringing the opposite thumb on top. Balance in all things. Take 2 more breaths wherever you are. And then unclasp the fingers if they're clasps and roll down one vertebrae at a time. And then we'll windshield viper the knees from side to side, maybe taking the feet out a little wider, maybe getting a little movement in the neck by taking the gaze to the opposite side again. And let's go ahead and flip on over to the belly. You can do that by rolling to one side or the other and just simply flipping on over. Or you could do it the really fun way and bring your hands behind your thighs and rock and roll up and down the spine a few times. Getting a little bit of a massage across the length of the back here. And then flip it over. Get my hair out of my way here. And let's come into Sphinx Pose. So in Sphinx Pose, the tops of the feet are flat on the earth. The legs are parallel. The elbows are right underneath the shoulders and the forearms are parallel. Palms are pressing down onto the mat here. And we're not just dumping down into the chest, but we're lifting up in the heart, lifting the back of the heart up towards the sky. Pressing the elbows into the earth, drawing the shoulder blades down the back body, tucking the chin to keep the neck nice and long. pressing into the pubic bone, pressing into the tops of the feet. You can lift up as high as feels good to you here. This can be very nice for the low back. If it's a little pinchy on the low back, you could take the feet out a little bit wider than parallel to one another, maybe even as wide as the mat. And we'll just breathe here for a couple of breaths, noticing what you feel. Do you feel any tightness that you can maybe soften? Maybe check in with the jaw, the skin of the forehead. Draw those collarbones away from one another. Tuck that chin. We'll inhale here, and the next time you exhale, just maybe invite the chin towards the chest. Get a nice little stretch across the back of the neck. And then we'll maybe roll the right ear over towards the right shoulder. Roll the left ear towards the left shoulder. Maybe kind of go back and forth, moving in partnership with your body here. Letting your body tell you what it needs, what it wants, where it wants it. And just find a little organic movement here that supports you. And when you've had enough of that, we'll inhale the head back up to the top of the spine. And then we'll exhale, releasing the forehead to the mat and drawing the arms straight alongside the body. Let's build up just a little bit of strength here in the back as we get a back bend or two in. Back bends are really, really good for us because we spend so much of our time bending forward. So the next time you inhale, let's just go ahead and lift the arms, the shoulders, and the head from the mat, keeping that chin tucked to keep the neck long. And then we'll exhale, bringing everything down to the mat. And then we'll inhale just the legs up towards the sky. And exhale the legs towards the mat. And then we'll inhale the head and the shoulders and the legs, leaving the hands where they are. Exhale everything down. And then we'll inhale, lifting the head, the shoulders, the hands, and the legs, and we fly. Think superhero here. Flying with the arms behind us because we're super aerodynamic. We're way faster than Superman with his arms out in front. But you could put your arms out in front here for a little added shoulder strengthening. Wherever is convenient for you, or you could allow the legs to come down or the arms. Yogi's choice here, whatever variation of this locust pose feels good to you. Building strength in the back body, massaging the inner organs on the earth with every inhale. And then we'll exhale everything down, bringing the left cheek down to the earth. And just give the hips a little shimmy shake. Let the knees and the legs and the arms just soften. We'll take a breath or two here. Integrating that movement into the body. And then we'll bring the forehead back to the mat. And we'll do a locust variation again. If you like, though, you can do bow pose. So any variation of locust, which we just did, or you can inhale the head, bend the knees, and this might not be good for those of you with sensitive knees, and reach back for the ankles, coming into bow pose here, getting deeper into the back. So if this is not stressful for the knees, go for it. If it is, come back to locust pose for sure. But this is great for the back. Breathing here, maybe inhaling a little bit higher, and wherever you are, exhale to release and bring the right cheek down to the earth and just let it go. Shimmy, shake the hips, softening the arms and the legs. And then we'll go ahead and bring the forehead back to the earth. Press up through hands and knees. And if it feels good to you, come back to a nice child's pose here. If child's pose does not feel good to you and is not comfortable for your knees, you could curl the toes under and lift the hips coming into downward facing dog. I forget the Sanskrit for downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Savasana, I believe. So either in child's pose or in downward facing dog. Here in child's, the knees can be wide and the big toes together, stretching the arms out long. If you're in downward dog, you could bend one knee and then the other, getting a stretch in the back of the calves. Really still finding mountain pose, even in downward facing dog, drawing the shoulder blades down the back, tucking the chin, shining the heart forward. Two more breaths in whatever resting pose you've chosen, whether that's child's or downward facing dog. And then we'll go ahead and swing the legs out to one side or the other, or cross them underneath you and roll the hips up and over so that we can come into staff pose. And if you have a blanket or a towel or pillows that you can put under the knees here, you might want to do that. If your knees are comfortable out straight like this, that's fine too. Or you could just have a gentle bend to the knee. But we're going to get just a little bit of movement here in the knees. So allow those fingertips to come out to support you. Finding mountain pose in the back body, shoulders down the back, heart lifted, chin tucked. Do your checklist. And we're just going to windshield wiper the right toes from side to side, getting a little bit of a rotation here in the leg. Now your knees are either up on a support, or you can interlace the fingers underneath the right thigh. Trying to keep a nice straight back here, and we're just going to bend the knee and then straighten. Just getting a little bit of movement here. So either the leg is supported on a blanket or pillows, or by your interlaced hands. And we'll just bend and straighten. Inhaling as you straighten, exhaling as you bend. If you're on a rolled up blanket or something here, this is probably not a very big movement, but keep your attention on the knee. Keep the foot flexed to support the knee. And really tell your knee how nice and strong it is. My knees are strong. My knees are healthy. And we'll do that 2 more times. And then we'll go ahead and lower the right leg down and maybe shake the legs out a little bit. And then we'll come back to Dandasana, supporting ourselves with the fingertips tented out beside us. And then we'll windshield wiper that left leg a little bit from side to side. And then we'll find a support for under the knee if you don't have one already, or it might be your interlaced fingers. If it's your interlaced fingers, maybe switch your clasp from the last time so the opposite thumb is on top. And we'll inhale to straighten, exhale to bend. Keeping the foot flexed here. Engaging all the muscles, all the little tiny ligaments around the knee here, pressing out through the heel. You might notice some popping sounds, as long as they're not painful. They're just gas escaping your joint. We'll do this 3 more times on this side. And then we'll go ahead and release, and we'll shake the legs out again. And then go ahead and bring the soles of the feet together, coming into butterfly pose. And if this is stressful for the knees, you can have the feet out as far from the body as feels good to you, so you're more of a diamond shaped pose. And either hold on to the shins or the thighs, the ankles or the toes here. And we're just going to do a couple seated cat-cows. Inhaling into cow pose, arching the back and lifting the heart, keeping the chin tucked. Exhaling into cat pose, drawing the belly button towards the spine and the chin towards the chest. Inhale, cow, maybe allowing the head to come back a bit and the throat to open if that feels good in your neck. Exhaling, cat, rounding back into those shoulder blades, making space in between each and every vertebra. Couple more times here. The next time you inhale, cow, as you exhale, cat, round through the right side, and then inhale up through the left side, coming back to cow. So we're just kind of spiraling around in a nice juicy circle here. The circle can be as subtle as you like or as generous as you like. Maybe get the neck and the shoulders involved a little bit. And when you're ready, switch directions. Again, bringing balance to the body. Allowing it to just be organic movement. If you find a spot that's particularly good and you want to just hang out there for a second and breathe, go for it. And when you've had enough there, we'll gently bring the knees up towards one another and the soles of the feet to the earth. Center yourself on the mat here. And holding on to the fronts of the shins or the backs of the thighs, we're just going to lift the heart here, draw the shoulder blades down the back and inhale. And then we're going to exhale, rolling one vertebra at a time down towards the earth. Using that core strength to slow it down as much as possible. Moving any ponytails out of your way so that you can come all the way down to a flat back. Stretching out long through the right side and then stretching out long through the left side. And then we'll come into our final Shavasana here. Maybe you still have your rolled up blankets or pillows around and you want to tuck those under the knees for more support. If not, you can come to full Shavasana, legs or feet at the corners of the mat, feet as wide as the mat. Arms open, palms shining up towards the sky. Maybe press into the elbows just enough to lift the heart and hug those shoulder blades in and down the back. Tuck the chin. Allow the collarbones to float away from one another. And we're just going to take a moment here to imagine that you're a sack of potatoes. Imagine maybe if potatoes don't speak to you, maybe you're a bag of rocks, bag of pasta or rice or something. I like potatoes. I love potatoes, truth be told. But for the purposes of this guided Shavasana, find a bag of something that you can relate to and imagine that your body is a bag of potatoes, or fill in the blank, whatever you decide on. And with every breath you inhale, pick a potato. Might be the potato of fear or requiring others' approval or anxiety or frustration, or a potato of depression. And every time you pick a potato on the inhale, as you exhale, allow that potato to just fall out of the bag. Inhale, pick another potato. And exhale to release it and let it go. Releasing all your potatoes, all your rocks, all your grains of rice, of stress and anxiety and wants and need, just letting them go. Until nothing is left but this empty bag. And then we'll fill the bag up with things like authenticity, courage, love, joy, mercy, kindness, grace. Throw some more love in there too while you're at it. Whatever you want more of in your life. Thing is, you gotta let go of all those old rotten potatoes before you have room for all these new fresh potatoes. And just breathe 3 more full breaths here. Allowing the concept of letting things that don't serve you go to make room for things that do serve you. To just integrate in your heart, your mind, and your body. Well, let's just bring a little gentle movement, wiggling the toes, wiggling the fingers, rotating ankles and wrists in each direction. And then stretch out long, one last time, full body stretch. And then bend one knee and then the other. And allow yourself to roll to whatever side serves you best, letting your head rest on your bottom arm and using your top arm as a little kickstand, or to draw your knees in towards the heart and give yourself a little hug. And without opening your eyes on an inhale, go ahead and press yourself back up to a nice tall seat. You can stretch those legs out long, coming into Dandasana pose to keep those knees nice and happy. Or you can come to Sukasana or Siddhasana, crossing the legs one over the other or one in front of the other. And we're going to take the right hand and then the left to the top of the head. We're going to do a little buzzing breath work here. So we're going to take 3 inhales here. And as we exhale, we're going to hum it out. So you could buzz between your teeth like this. Zzz. Or you can hum with the lips closed like this. So we're going to inhale to prepare. And as we exhale, we'll buzz. Keep going as long as you can. And then we'll release the hands, bringing them back down to the legs. Just notice what you feel. How much of that buzzing could you feel in your head, in your hands? What do you feel in your body? And then we'll take the left hand and then the right over the heart. And we'll buzz for a second time. Inhaling through the nose. And release the hands. And just notice how you feel. And for the 3rd time, place whatever hand speaks to you over the belly and cover that hand with the opposite hand. And we'll buzz for a 3rd and final time into the belly, noticing where you feel it in your body. Inhale to prepare. Coming back to a natural breath. Notice how you feel now as compared to the beginning of our practice. And then we'll send the arms out wide as we inhale the arms up to the sky, getting a nice big stretch and bringing the palms together, and exhaling hands to heart. Let's do one more vibration here, the sound of Om, to close out our practice. The sound of divine consciousness, of universal creation, of divine light. The sound that reverberates within all of us, not only on a spiritual level, but when we bring the vibrations to our body, we can change our energetic field. And we can also touch every organ in our body as we stimulate the vagus nerve directly with those humming, vibrating sounds. So anytime you want to calm down a little bit, or maybe calm down a baby or a pet, maybe practice a few Oms with them. But for now, we'll just do one together, taking an inhale to prepare. The light within me honors and sees the light within you. Thank you so much for practicing together with us today. Namaste.